Hey everybody, welcome to Home with the Halsteads and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making a chicken pot pie, and the reason that I'm making it is because my sweet husband had some dental work done and he needs something soft for dinner. So what better thing to offer him than a chicken pot pie. I love it and I know you do too. This is a recipe that a new friend of mine, she's a follower of our Facebook page. Her name is Valerie. She's a lovely person. I've spoken to her and I can't wait to meet her in person. But she shared some of her recipes with me and I asked her if I could share this with you and she said absolutely. Please feel free to do that. The only difference in the one I'm making today and the one, her recipe, is that she uses a sauteed onion, a medium onion, and 2 tablespoons of butter. So if you want onion in yours, you go right ahead and you saute it. For my chicken, I just bought a whole chicken because I need more chicken and broth throughout this coming week so that I can fix some other things for Doug. So I have my chicken on the stove, it's boiling. And when it gets done, it gets cool, I'll chop some up and I'll be using 2½ cups of chopped chicken and I'll be using 1 cup of the broth. To that, I'm going to add 2 cans of veg oil. These are 15½ ounce cans of veg oil. I will drain that, or drain these, and add them to our mixture. Now, Valerie's recipe called for veg oil and I love it and I use it a lot in a lot of my recipes. Some of you are going to ask, can you use fresh frozen vegetables? You can. Just buy you a bag of fresh veggies and use that instead of the veg oil if you want to. I'll also be using a 10½ ounce can of cream of chicken soup, and then I'll be using between 1 to 2 cups of half and half. We'll decide how much we're going to use that as we go along. I'll be adding salt and pepper, and I can't wait to do this. It calls for a pinch of cayenne pepper. I'm excited about that. So that will be the base of our chicken pot pie. Now we need a crust. And so I'm going to use 1 stick of melted butter. I'm going to use 1½ cups of self-rising flour. And I'm using White Lily self-rising flour, sifted and measured. And then I'm going to use 1/2 cup, or start out with 1/2 cup of whole milk. If I need to add more, I'll add more. Now, my introduction is getting a little long, but I want to go ahead and tell you that normally, to make this whole recipe, you would need a 9 by 13 baking dish, but I'm going to divide mine, and I'm going to make up the whole recipe, but I'm going to put it in 2 9 by 9 square baking dishes. I'm going to cook one for us, and I'm going to take one to a friend. And so I won't be taking the mixture or the pot pie to my friend until tomorrow, and I'm going to let her cook it. So I'm going to divide my crust that I'll be using and putting on here, and let her mix it up and just pour it over her pot pie and bake it herself so it'll be warm and delicious for their dinner tomorrow night. So let's get busy and make this chicken pot pie. Okay, we're ready to mix up our chicken pot pie, and I have preheated our oven to 375 degrees. I'm starting out with our veg oil in this medium to large size bowl. To that, I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken. I chopped it up, and that's about 2½ cups of chicken. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead and add my pepper. I'm not going to add salt. And the reason that I'm not, our soup is salty, and I salted the chicken when I boiled it. But I am going to put just a pinch, and I'm going to pour a little bit of this cayenne pepper in my hand, just a little bit. Watch me dump it all. Well, that's just a little bit, but I want a little bit more than that. So I'm just going to use my hand and do a real pinch. So that's a pinch. Just a little bit. That's right. So now, next I'm going to add our soup. 1 can of cream of chicken soup. And you see how easily that came out? I turned it over and I used a knife and put a hole in the bottom, and then guess what? It came right out. There's a little bit left in there. I'll go ahead and get that out because I don't like to leave anything in there. But that really comes out quick and easy. So now I think I'll start with my spoon and go ahead and start mixing this up, mixing it around. And I'm going to add 1 cup of broth. This is that good rich chicken broth that I've got when I boil that chicken. And now, let me get my half and half uncovered here. I measured it out and put it back in the refrigerator, and I covered it back up. So now I'm going to add 1 cup of half and half. This is looking good. Now we may need to add a little bit more, but I'm just going to add a cup and start stirring this around. And I want to really mix that cream of chicken soup in with all of the other ingredients. I like to stir from the bottom in a circular motion. I'll come around to this side right here. And y'all, it's as simple as that. That looks pretty soupy, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to add just a little bit more cream, half and half. I almost turn this up and drink it. It looks so good. Now, I told you that I'm going to divide this and take 1 to a friend, and Doug and I are going to have 1 for dinner. So I'm going to use a cup to divide this, and I've got this throwaway pan that I'm going to put some in for our friend. So let's see how I can do this. I want to kind of evenly divide it because we don't need all of it. And I think my friend will be so thrilled to get this for their dinner. I hope so anyway. My joy comes in sharing. I don't know if you've figured that out or not, but I feel like that is a gift that God has blessed me with, and I do love to share. So now I'm just going to turn my this bowl up and finish dividing this. Put a little bit more in here, and I'll put the rest of it in here. So now this small one right here in the glass baking dish, I'm going to cook for mine and Doug's dinner tonight. And this one, I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap and then put another, I might put some more foil on top of that. And I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, and I'll take it to her tomorrow. But let me show you how we're going to mix up our crust. I have our flour, and I've divided it now because now I have 2 pot pies instead of just 1 chicken pot pie. So I have our flour, and I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of milk, and this is whole milk. I'm going to swap off and get my whisk here because I don't want any lumps. And this is half of the recipe, and I'm adding 1/4 of a cup, which is 1/2 stick of butter, melted butter. And here again, if this looks too thick, all you have to do is add a little bit more milk. And that looks pretty good to me, but just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to pour a little extra milk in there. This really looks good. Now, let's pour it on top of our chicken pot pie. Just going to drizzle it on top. Just like that. That does look some kind of good, and it's going to be delicious. I hope Doug can eat this. He's doing well from his dental work. You know, that's one of the least favorite places he likes to go, which is probably true with all of us. So now we are ready to go in the oven with ours at 375 degrees, and I'm going to bake it for about 40 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'll put it in the oven in just a second. So now I'm going to go back to this one. I tell you that I'm going to cover it, put it in the refrigerator, and I'm going to take it to my friend like this. But let's just assume that she doesn't have what it takes to make up that little crust. So what I'm going to do, or what I did, I put half of the flour in this little baggie, and I put 3/4 cups self-rising flour. So all she has to do is put that in a bowl. I'm going to even take a half a stick of butter, and she can melt that, add that to the flour. And then I'm going to put some milk in a little container. I'll put about 3/4 of a cup of milk in a container, and I'll take that to her, and she'll have everything that she needs to have a hot, bubbly, delicious chicken pot pie. Okay, our chicken pot pie is done. Look at it, it's bubbling. Oh my goodness, it's brown on top. I'm going to take it out of the oven, let it cool and rest for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to dip into it and enjoy it for our dinner. Okay, y'all, I dipped some out on my plate, and I just had to come back and show you. This is just going to be delicious. Okay, that wraps it up, folks. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for helping me with this chicken pot pie, and I really appreciate Valerie sharing the recipe. It was delicious. Doug and I just finished dinner. Now we're going to go out on the porch and rock a while. That's the beauty of retirement. We don't get to do that much even in retirement, but when we do, we love it. I appreciate your watching. One thing that I did want to tell you, I should have added some salt. I think the half and half countered the salt that was in the veg all and the cream of chicken soup. I thought that would have been enough, but it wasn't. I added some more to our liking. But that's the beauty of salt and pepper. You can add it at your when you serve your plate, or add it at the table. And then it's better to do that than it is to put too much in your recipe and then the whole dish is too salty. So anyway, it was delicious. Thank you again, Valerie. We loved it. I'm sure I will be cooking it many, many times and also sharing it with my friends. Have a blessed day. Don't forget to like and share our videos, and I'll see you again really, really soon.